There's a type of grief that nobody prepares you for. It doesn't come from losing someone you love. It comes from losing yourself. And it happens slowly, so quietly that you barely notice until one day you wake up and realize you're not who you used to be. This is the hidden grief of aging. The kind that doesn't get sympathy cards or casseroles from neighbors. The kind that happens behind closed doors when you can't open a jar anymore. When you forget your grandson's name for just a second. When you look in the mirror and don't recognize the person staring back. Today I'm going to talk about something most people avoid. The 3 devastating losses that come with aging. Independence, health, and identity. By the end of this video, you'll understand why so many older adults struggle with depression. And more importantly, you'll learn how to face these losses with dignity and strength. Let's start with the loss that hits hardest. Independence. For 70, 80, maybe 90 years, you've been making your own decisions. Driving where you want. Eating what you like. Going to bed when you choose. Then suddenly, someone else is making those choices for you. It starts small. Your daughter insists on driving you to the doctor. Your son takes over paying your bills. Your neighbor starts checking on you every morning. These acts come from love, but they chip away at something fundamental. Your autonomy. Your right to control your own life. Imagine this. You've driven a car for 60 years without a single accident. But now your reflexes are slower. Your vision isn't what it was. One day your family sits you down and tells you it's time to give up your keys. In that moment, you don't just lose transportation. You lose freedom. You lose spontaneity. You lose the ability to escape when you need space. The grief of losing independence is complicated. Because the people taking away your choices are the same people who love you most. They're trying to keep you safe. But safety comes at a cost. And that cost is the life you've always known. Many older adults describe this as feeling invisible. Like they've become children again, but without the promise of growing up. Decisions about their medication, their living situation, even their daily schedule get made without their input. It's not malicious. It's just that everyone assumes they know what's best. But here's what most people don't understand. Losing independence doesn't just affect practical matters. It affects your sense of self. When you can no longer do things for yourself, you start questioning your value. Your purpose. Your reason for being here. Research shows that loss of independence is one of the strongest predictors of depression in older adults. Stronger than physical pain. Stronger than financial stress. Because it strikes at the core of human dignity. The need to have agency over your own existence. Now let's talk about the second loss. Health. And I don't just mean getting sick. I mean watching your body betray you in 1,000 small ways. Every single day. Your knees that used to carry you up mountains now struggle with stairs. Your hands that used to garden for hours now ache after 10 minutes. Your mind that used to remember everything now forgets why you walked into a room. This is chronic loss. And it never stops. Unlike other types of grief, you can't move through the stages and reach acceptance. Because the loss keeps happening. Every month brings a new limitation. A new medication. A new reason to feel frustrated with your own body. I talked to a woman named Margaret who told me something that broke my heart. She said the worst part wasn't the pain. It was mourning all the things she used to be able to do. She used to bake bread from scratch. Now her arthritis makes it impossible. She used to read 3 books a week. Now her eyes tire after a few pages. Each lost ability is a small death. And nobody acknowledges these deaths because they seem trivial compared to actual death. But they're not trivial to the person experiencing them. They're the slow erosion of everything that made life enjoyable. The medical system doesn't help. Doctors treat symptoms but rarely address the emotional impact of declining health. You're given pills for pain but nothing for the grief of losing your vitality. You're told it's normal for your age, as if that makes it hurt less. And then Therese, the fear. The constant wondering what you'll lose next. Will you be able to walk next year? Will you remember your family's faces? Will you be able to feed yourself? This anticipatory grief is exhausting. It steals the joy from whatever abilities you still have. Many older adults also grieve the loss of their role as caregiver. For decades, they took care of others. Their children, their parents, their spouse. Now they're the ones being cared for. This role reversal is deeply disorienting. It challenges their identity and their sense of purpose. Physical decline also brings isolation. When you can't keep up with activities you used to enjoy, you stop getting invited. Friends who are still active move on. Social circles shrink. And loneliness compounds the grief of losing health. Which brings us to the third and perhaps most profound loss. Identity. Who are you when you're no longer who you were? For most of your life, your identity was tied to what you did. You were a teacher, a mother, an engineer, a volunteer. You were the person who hosted holidays, who fixed things, who gave advice. Then retirement comes. Your children grow up. Your body slows down. And suddenly all those roles disappear. This is existential grief. The loss of meaning and purpose. When people ask who you are, you don't know how to answer anymore. Because the answer used to be obvious. Now it's complicated. Many older adults describe feeling like they're fading away. Like they're becoming less relevant with each passing year. Society reinforces this feeling. Older people are often treated as if they have nothing left to contribute. Their opinions are dismissed. Their experiences are seen as outdated. The media doesn't help. When older adults appear in commercials, they're usually selling medication or retirement plans. Rarely are they shown as vibrant, complex individuals with rich inner lives. This cultural invisibility adds another layer to the grief of losing identity. There's also the grief of losing your future self. The person you thought you'd become. Maybe you planned to travel the world in retirement. But now your health won't allow it. Maybe you wanted to write a book. But your memory isn't sharp enough. The gap between who you hope to be and who you actually are can be devastating. Some people try to hold on to their old identity too tightly. They push themselves beyond their limits trying to prove they're still capable. This often leads to injury or exhaustion. Others give up entirely and stop trying to find new sources of meaning. Both extremes are forms of unprocessed grief. The truth is that identity in later years requires reinvention. But reinventing yourself is hard when you're grieving who you used to be. It's like being asked to build a new house while you are still mourning the one that burned down. So what do we do with all this grief? How do we face these losses without being crushed by them? First, we need to acknowledge that this grief is real and valid. Stop minimizing it. Stop saying it's just part of getting old. Yes, aging is universal. But that doesn't make the losses any less painful. Give yourself permission to mourn what you've lost. Second, we need to talk about it. The silence around aging grief makes it worse. Share your feelings with people who will listen without trying to fix you. Join support groups. See a therapist who specializes in grief and aging. You'd be surprised how much it helps to know you're not alone. Third, focus on what you still have rather than only what you've lost. This isn't toxic positivity, it's survival. Yes, You can't walk as far as you used to. But you can still enjoy the sunset from your porch. Yes, your memory isn't perfect. But you still have decades of wisdom to share. Fourth, find new sources of meaning. Your identity doesn't have to be tied to what you used to do. It can be tied to who you are now. Maybe you're a mentor, a storyteller, a friend, a person who brings joy to others simply by being present. These roles matter just as much. Fifth, advocate for yourself. Don't let others make all your decisions. Speak up about what matters to you. Even if you need help, you can still have a say in how that help is provided. Independence isn't all or nothing. It's a spectrum. Fight for whatever autonomy you can maintain. Finally, be patient with yourself. Grief isn't linear. Some days will be harder than others. Some losses will hit you out of nowhere. That's okay. Healing from grief doesn't mean the pain goes away completely. It means learning to carry it with grace. The hidden grief of aging is one of life's cruelest ironies. You survive long enough to lose the things that made survival worthwhile. But here's what I want you to remember. Loss doesn't erase value. You are not less worthy because you need help. You are not less important because your body has changed. You are not less you because you're different than you were. Every person who lives long enough will face these losses. That includes the people caring for you. That includes me. That includes everyone watching this video. We're all heading toward the same destination. And maybe if we talk about it more openly, we can make the journey a little less lonely. If you're experiencing this grief yourself, I see you. Your feelings are valid. Your losses are real. And you deserve support and compassion as you navigate this difficult transition. If you know someone who's aging, please remember that they're not just losing abilities. They're losing parts of themselves. Be patient. Be kind. And most importantly, let them grieve.